welcome everyone to the special episode 1 of Boss Still Isn't Inviting tFay to her 15th wedding. What?
God damn it, dude. God. You, I can't right now.
I don't know. What do we call this episode?
Not mention you're gonna mention a meme from your Discord and Justice Discord.
Yes.
It's on brand for you. Shameless plugging.
The opening title card, the opening 5 seconds is freedom for me to make whatever dumb joke I want that nobody understands.
That's fair. You do let me make any dumb joke I want to for the rest of the podcast. So
yes, after
you know what?
we introduce our guest, we'll be on top. This is why we're going to pretend we don't have one for a bit. So we can keep bullshitting. All right, Noctis, I'm eating a mozzarella stick, so introduce our guest.
So our guest today is MrClean. He's a lovely member of the community, and he brought up the idea of a DC versus Marvel podcast.
Hello.
And
whoa, hold up. What, DC versus Marvel? Where is this immediate DC bias? It's Marvel versus DC. Nobody calls it DC
Marvel
versus no one says DC versus Marvel. You're already biased. I call bull. We have to throw this episode out the window. Hit stop recording.
Okay, listen. You list them alphabetically. Which one comes first?
Nobody says DC versus Marvel.
No one does it alphabetically.
I'm just saying.
Nobody says.
It sounds like you guys are being biased. I am switching it up. I'm giving DC the fair shot.
No, I am merely stating the universal statement that everyone does.
Then it sounds like that's a bias. I'm trying to mix it up.
Even people that are biased to DC still say Marvel versus DC.
I don't. Why? Why would you? Why wouldn't you say DC?
Because it just sounds. It's phonetically nicer to end with the C rather than the O.
Detective Comics versus Marvel. There you go. Is that better?
I don't actually know.
I'm confused.
Because that's what DC stands for originally. Detective Comics.
Interesting question. Which is older from the live chat? I think DC is older.
No. So Marvel Comics was Timely That's a good one. I don't know exactly when each of them came out.
Dang, it wouldn't really suck if we, didn't have access to the internet.
No. DC is older. Because DC before it was Detective Comics, it was fuck.
Marvel is older than DC by 5 years.
So, well, I mean,
sure, and that's why we say it first. There you go. No. We justified it.
No, okay, wait. Okay, let me see this. Marvel Comics. Let's now you have.
See, this wasn't even planned. We were going to argue about which is better. Now we're just arguing about which is older. Right?
Yeah, no. Marvel Comics was founded in 1939 as Timely Comics. DC was started in 1934 by National Allied Publications. DC is older by 5 years.
Okay, I'm going to read this from the chat because it's just interesting information. It was founded in 1934 as National Allied Comics, first published in the title Detective Comics in 1937, and officially changed its name to DC in 1977. Marvel began in 1938 as Timely Comics, published the title Marvel Comics in 1939, became Atlas Comics in 1951, and Marvel Comics in 1961.
Yeah. They rebranded in 1961 and started with
and we're all mad it wasn't Marvel Comics in 1969. Nice. I'm just saying. It would if it started 8 years later, you could automatically always say Marvel's better than DC.
I'm trying to think if there was anything that happened in 1969. Nothing I can think of. Never mind.
All right. Oh yeah. Did anything bad happen in 1969 that makes this joke inappropriate?
Well, I was trying to think of like anything in comics that happened in 1969, not just in general.
I'm just looking in general.
I mean, Vampirella came out that
The
year.
Beatles' last public performance, the Apollo 11 moon landing. All right, so I guess if you hate space,
Also, if you're gonna Google Vampirella, make sure your safe search is on because oh my god, she is a character. She's really
all right.
she really came into popularity in the 90s. Along
Okay,
with a
the
bunch
New
of
York
other
Jets
characters.
apparently won the Super Bowl that year, so if you hate New York, then you also don't use 1969 apparently.
Who hates New York?
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna say that. How do you hate New York?
Montanans
Are you
probably.
from Jersey?
Oh, you're going a lot more local. You're going local. I guess we both
I
went
am a
local, didn't we?
local. I'm a New Yorker.
I've never been to New York, so I wouldn't offer an opinion on it. But that doesn't stop other Montanans from complaining about California. So
Okay.
what do I
As
know?
far as I know, nothing politically controversial happened in 1969, but I can't make that joke. So if Marvel just started in 1969, it would automatically always be better than DC. So there you go. All right. Moving on. All right. But for the record, it's Marvel versus DC. And every time Noctis says DC versus Marvel, everyone does a shot.
Keep in mind that our guest is not yet 21.
I never said a shot of what?
I guess that's fair. That is fair. I think take a shot though is usually
Oh, you mean like
be
people usually say Marvel versus DC, but maybe I wanted to be different, huh? Huh?
If any you should have said this goes back to our conversation about having to specify something.
Okay, hey,
You can't just
I
say,
wanted
"Take
to
a
make
shot."
a dumb joke. All right? All right? I've had a lot of shots already because of how much you've been saying DC versus Marvel.
I said it once.
So...
You've said it now more than I have. Oh my god. Wow.
Okay, so let's
All
just
right.
get this out of the way. All right, MrClean.
Yes.
What do you prefer in general between Marvel versus DC? Like if you had to make one of the universes disappear and not pull a Marvel and bring it back,
Or DC and
or DC
explain it as a multiverse.
and just bullshit your way into justifying it.
I would easily remove DC just because I don't read or watch any of them.
Oh my
Besides
gosh.
some of the TV shows.
Someone doesn't
Some of the
play
TV
Mortal
shows are pretty
Kombat
good.
versus DC. Somebody hates Mortal Kombat confirmed.
I mean, that's funny. So okay, then how about you, tFay? If you had to make one disappear, which one would you pick?
As if it wasn't obvious.
Wait. Do you have an obvious guess?
I'm guessing he would pick DC as well because I know he likes Spider-Gwen a lot.
Really,
because
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, he's
All
a
right.
basic bitch.
I'm gonna say DC just because. Oh, jeez. See, I'm torn because I have a giant Spider-Gwen collection, and if you want to know, tFay, why do you like Spider-Gwen? Why do I like anything? Because it just visually looks great. All right, I like her outfit. Second of all,
It was his first body pillow. He's very attached.
But I also have a shit ton of Batman comics, and all
Wait,
those would disappear.
you have a body pillow?
No, I don't have a body pillow. It's a running joke, Mr. Clean. I'm a weeb, thus I must have a body pillow. That's the way stereotypes work.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't let him lie to you.
See, that's why it's
don't let him lie to
because
you.
you're not surprised. That's the kind of bias that leads to these kinds of jokes.
Oh my god, that's so funny. So you're stuck between you're not sure which one to pick?
Yeah, I honestly not. I feel like if I just because if I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna have to say kill Marvel just because I need like life without Batman just makes no sense to me. But
No.
as if you took away Batman, if Batman was not a factor, 100% get rid of DC. It sucks. DC needs Batman to live.
I will definitely. I mean, that's like the reason they changed it to Detective Comics was because of Batman's like success and popularity, pretty much.
True. But I still stand by my statement. Like Marvel, you can take away pretty much any individual hero from Marvel and you'll be okay. I don't think you can lose Batman from DC.
Batman is like the keystone of DC.
I disagree. I definitely. That's a tough one because, like, movie-wise, he's definitely. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the comics. I would say Superman is just as much of a linchpin, considering he was the one that started DC, pretty much.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I just think Superman's lame.
Well, one of the first comics for Marvel was Captain America, right?
Very early, yeah. I think the first popular superhero was the Submariner. And the Human Torch.
Oh, Submariner, isn't that basically like a Marvel version of Superman?
I think a Namor stands would be very upset to hear you say that. I think it's often considered the other way around, that Aquaman is the DC version of Namor, considering.
Well, okay. I was
saying
it like that because some people don't know what.
Yeah. Yes.
Submariner.
Namor.
All right.
Is for people that don't know, is the king of Atlantis.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna trigger. We're gonna see if we can trigger everyone. All right. If you want to know what Submariner is, all right, imagine Aquaman with black hair and less clothes, and then done. That's it.
Yeah. Yes. He is hot Aquaman, pretty much. Like, oh my god, like Jason Momoa. Yeah. No. Like the Invisible Woman has banged Namor. Like.
Okay, no. I'm gonna just put a disclaimer right here. We're not gonna be talking about every person who banged every person in comics, because I feel like that's a very different kind of question.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in this case of why Namor is hot, even Invisible Woman, we have someone in the universe.
Why is Invisible Woman like the standard for if she bangs you, you're hot?
I mean,
is she like the most judgmental person in comics?
I think it's either gonna be her or Storm if we're picking from Marvel, because like both of them have pretty good taste. Like Storm is between Black Panther and Wolverine, and Invisible Woman is between Mr. Fantastic and Namor. Or I don't know. She-Hulk. Yeah, because she did it with Juggernaut.
Why are you so knowledgeable about who banged who in comics?
Because I have a deep knowledge of comics, and apparently with that comes a collection of intimate relationships.
Why is it not like, oh, he fought who? He teamed up with who?
Because everyone fought each other.
He's picked up Thor's hammer. No, the question is who banged who? This is how you judge characters.
Bring up the hammer. Bring up someone picking up the hammer. I'll talk about it. But my point is, we started talking about how hot Namor is.
No, I was trying to make a one-shot joke. I said he has no clothes. You said he's hot.
Listen, I don't know who said he was hot. We don't need to check. Probably tFay, but whatever. I honestly, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick getting rid of Marvel as well.
So do we start?
Wait, didn't we say get rid of? Oh, okay. Wait. So MrClean said get rid of DC, right?
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm torn.
Why would you get rid of Marvel?
I want to get rid of DC. I would get rid of DC to be against you, tFay, because that's always fun.
But I like Marvel better. I just would get rid of DC.
Wait, what?
I like Marvel more than DC, but I would get rid of Marvel because I need Batman in my life. Like, I like Batman more than I like Marvel, but I like Marvel more than I like DC as a whole.
See, I think the Justice League is a lot more interesting than the Avengers.
No.
Easily.
Okay, it depends. It depends, like, on what platform they're on. Like,
yeah, I feel like this gets into a really weird thing of like every platform, they have different groups of people. like depending on what time period or like what medium you're in. So like
no, I am summing it up as, in general, I think the Justice League is more interesting than the Avengers. The Avengers definitely get the movie side of it because Justice League really was really bad.
Yeah.
Both versions of it. But in general, I'm gonna pick the one that has Superman, Batman, and the Flash. Like, that's just a more interesting set of like powers to me than what the Avengers brings to the table.
interesting set of powers. Oh, is that all right? That's an interesting way to compare them. Which between Marvel and DC has more interesting powers?
Oh man.
I mean, Squirrel Girl's pretty fascinating, to be honest.
I've heard Squirrel Girl is pretty overpowered.
Just through
very overpowered.
Through the power of the writers making everything she does canon just to troll the fans that are like, well, he beat up Thanos and blah blah blah. So they're like, okay, we're gonna have the Watcher drop in and say, yes, this actually happened and I can confirm it because I am the Watcher. Like, that's amazing and I love it. Okay. Well, I think the movies. I think almost everyone agrees that Marvel's doing better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's hard to debate.
Yeah, I think we can agree on that.
So
that's not very hard.
So for me, it comes down to then it would be TV, comics, and games.
Oh, games?
Yeah.
I don't think either of them has a solid handle on games, honestly.
Well, I think like Batman Arkham Knight are like
they have the Arkham games. Those are pretty great.
I mean, but that's just Batman. That's my original point. It's just everything is just hinging on Batman.
But it's still part of DC versus Marvel. Marvel would have Avengers.
All right. Well, does Marvel? Yeah, I don't think Marvel has any game that can hold up to the Arkham series.
So do we give it to DC then, just for that?
For games, yes, I would give.
Well, okay. What about Marvel v. Capcom? Those are pretty popular.
Wait, hold on. Do we also then have to take into account that Superman 64 exists, and it probably does that demean everything that the Arkham series did?
Oh my.
No, because even if you want to say Superman 64 is the worst game ever, which it's not, I guarantee you, I haven't played it yet, but there are worse games out there.
I heard it yet. Yes,
is it janky? I won't lie, it does look janky, but there are worse games out there, guys. I like it when people say Batman and Robin is the worst movie ever. No, it's not. You have not watched nearly enough movies if you think that is the worst movie ever. And I feel that way about Superman 64. Like, just, is it bad? Yes, but is it the worst game ever? It's not. And even if it was, you have Arkham City on the other end of the spectrum of being like top 100 best games ever made.
I still stand by the Arkham Knight's better than Arkham City, but not this conversation.
Yeah, I know. Arkham Knight is fun.
Okay, MrClean, what do you like better between Arkham Knight and Arkham City? Or not? Arkham Asylum. I mean, Arkham Asylum. Which is your favorite Arkham game? Just TLDR.
To be honest, I have not watched or played any of them.
Okay, Arkham City. All right, cool.
Now we have different arguments. Somebody buy MrClean a game.
So the games we'll give to I'm trying to think. There were some side-scrolling beat-em-ups that Marvel did in the 90s that were kind of fun. The Spider-Man game for the PS4. That one's pretty great.
That is a good game.
I completely forgot about those.
Okay,
no, actually, that game beats the crap out of Arkham Asylum of the Arkham.
No,
series.
it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I changed.
No, it does not.
My stance. Marvel wins.
No,
games.
all right. Spider-Man literally made me addicted to 100%ing that. All right, I think I 99%ed that game. Arkham City does not make you even remotely want to 100% that game.
Give me a sec. Saints Row 4 made me obsessed, and I 100%ed that game. But I don't think that would make any sort of argument for you. It's not, but my point is, you can't claim that a game making you want to 100% it makes it good.
I'm all right. So, Spider-Man for the PS4 is better than. All right, I'm trying to to make a direct comparison, so something you can compare in both of them. You have more fun traveling around the city and doing nothing else in Spider-Man than you do in the Batman.
Not in
Batman,
Arkham City. I disagree. That's why I love Arkham City so much.
Oh my gosh! No,
screw that.
the travel mechanics are way better in Spider-Man. I don't know. What do you
No,
think?
they're.
MrClean?
I think the Spider-Man game was more visual pleasing because
Well,
it was more
well,
like
I don't think anyone can argue.
I won't argue that. I can't. Like I like the look of them, but it's a little too dark at times. But I would also say Arkham City had a little bit better of a storyline. I was really into it, and I did not care much about the one in Spider-Man, to be honest. Like when Aunt May died, I just felt nothing. Spoiler alert.
I'm trying to remember the Arkham City storyline.
Permanent Bruce Wayne gets
wait,
thrown into
did
Arkham
you say
City.
Aunt May died?
Well, you can choose to save her or not, but
You can choose to save her?
yeah, you can choose to save her.
You didn't save her, tFay?
No? Wait, how do you save her?
Yeah, you have the cure to help everybody, so you have enough to either save Aunt May or have it duplicated. So you have to choose: do you save Aunt May or do you have it made unmatched?
I would save.
Okay. Also, DC also has the Lego Batman games. Those are pretty fun.
I would argue the Lego Marvel games are just as fun as the Lego Batman.
No freaking way! No way. There's Marvel Avengers at Lego Avengers, right? Are there any other Lego games for Marvel?
I don't think I've played a bunch of Lego games. I've never had more fun with one than another. But I will give you that Lego Batman the movie is one of the best things ever made. That is. But I would also gold.
DC also has Injustice as well.
Injustice.
The Injustice games. Injustice: Gods Among Us. Which are pretty fun. I would also like, and this is 100%. I'll cash in my bias tokens right now. I love the Batman Forever game for the Super Nintendo. One of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo growing up.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, it's not very good looking, and it is hard as hell. But I enjoy that. I love that game.
Okay. I can safely say I don't think we could use this. We'll just say you really like the game. It's cool, and just push it under the rug. Because I'm looking at this, I don't think it's gonna win you any points.
No, I and like I said, that's my bias tokens being cashed in. It is very old. I recognize this, but it was a lot of fun and one of my favorite games to play with my mom growing up because you can do 2 players.
Oh, that's
okay.
Cool.
Well, if we had to do a vote, not that it defines anything, but just the sake of the vote, I'm gonna say Marvel wins games just because of Spider-Man and its solo carries.
That's so silly too. It's not that great of a game. It's fun, but it's to say that it puts Marvel over DC. You guys can't even name any other Marvel games.
Well,
you didn't name Ultimate Alliance.
Like I said, no, I've played Ultimate Alliance and I had a lot of fun with that, and I think it's a solid game. Ignoring if you are a nerd and you want certain things to be in your game, but I think Spider-Man's good enough to carry. Doesn't even matter what the rest of it is.
Like, and obviously,
let MrClean have an opinion because I already know you're going to disagree with me.
Well, like, it's just solo carry.
Okay. Well, does Marvel versus Capcom count as another game, or is that not related?
Oh yes,
yes,
it should count. If that counts, then it definitely wins. If that counts, it definitely wins. Because Marvel versus Capcom series is like one of the best fighting games ever.
Wait. Wait, no, never mind. I'm trying to, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been in both DC. Yeah, no, TMNT is a DC property.
Is it actually? Even if it is, I don't know if that counts.
We have seen the Turtles interact with Batman.
I've also seen them interact. I've seen them interact with the Power Rangers. Does that mean it's a Power Ranger property?
DC Power Rangers are in the DC universe, confirmed. Guys, we are getting places.
Oh
The point is, the TMNT games for the Super Nintendo is really fun, as is the one for the Nintendo.
I'm not disagreeing with, but I don't think you can count Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the Marvel
I think we
versus DC
can.
argument. I don't know. What do you think,
I think we
MrClean?
part
can.
of DC or what
Are
universe
they?
are
No, no.
they in?
I think he's just trying to cop out because he knows Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles carries weight as hell. But I don't think that the Turtles are in DC.
They have interacted with Batman. They are in the DC universe.
Again, they've interacted with everything. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, did you know? Did you know? Kool-Aid. You know that giant picture of Kool-Aid, that their mascot.
Yeah.
He is confirmed to be in Marvel.
Oh, then it definitely
Okay.
shouldn't
The
count.
internet seems to emphasize that the rights of TMNT are neither Marvel nor DC.
Listen,
okay.
yes, because IDW Publishing owns the comics rights to the TMNT.
Crossovers, do they count as being part of the universe, or is it?
Yes, I would argue they do because we see them interact.
No.
They have to be part of the same universe.
No, they do not have to be part of the same universe. Both series basically make the argument that universes be damned.
No, if we don't see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting Wolverine or Captain America or Spider-Man, obviously, if they're not interacting with them, it doesn't count.
I mean, that does make sense.
Exactly. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is in the DC universe, therefore their games count towards DC.
First link I find in Google, Marvel and DC universes are connected by the Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
I didn't read it. It was made in 2020.
Okay,
I literally Googled TNT Marvel.
Yeah.
TNT Marvel. It's the first link. Anyone else can look at it if they want to say it's a good or bad article. I'm not reading it.
I know exactly why. Because while they have interacted with with Batman, supposedly the accident that led to Daredevil getting his powers is the ooze that turned the turtles turned them into the giant freakish monsters that they are. So the accident where Matt Murdock saved the old man from getting hit by the truck, that accident led to the creation of the turtles as well. So theoretically, they're in both universes.
Okay, so we agree that Marvel has better games than DC. We're good?
And we definitely disagree, but
I'm gonna add 2 more games into Marvel's
okay.
roster. Spider-Man VR and Iron Man VR.
I have no idea what either of those are.
Does DC have any VR games?
Ooh, that's an interesting. Oh, that's an avenue. Does DC be the VR scene?
Yes.
I don't know how they don't. Yeah, Batman Arkham VR.
But it'd be pretty boring to play as Batman in VR. Just some normal human. Throwing stuff.
Yes, it'd be so boring to be Batman. I would hate it. How could I couldn't live being a rich billionaire
in a VR sense?
To bang Catwoman.
Okay, I said
so
Batman,
sad.
not Bruce. What's his last name? Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne. Because I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have a VR game, which is odd.
The Teen Titans 2006 video game. Hear me out.
Teen Titans?
It's pretty
fun.
Have
a video game?
Yeah, they had it on the PS2 is what I played it on. A lot of fun. I'm trying to think of other. I'm really trying to think of DC games at this point. Oh, is it Super? One sec. It's like DC Heroes game. Yeah, the MMO DC Universe Online.
I don't think that gets you points. I honestly think that loses you points.
I thought it was pretty popular.
I honestly think it loses you points. Popular. I would definitely make the argument that loses you points. I didn't want to bring it up.
It has a 4.1 out of 5-star rating on Google. Oh no, it has 93% of Google users liked this video game. I think that counts. Whatever, you guys both voted for Marvel anyway. I'm arguing against
you literally laughed as soon as you said that statement.
I'm arguing a moot point. So movies go to Marvel, games go to Marvel. All right, that leaves TV and comics, right?
Okay, TV shows, I'm gonna give it to Marvel.
In what universe do you give it? The Batman the
This
animated
universe.
series. Batman the animated series. You want to talk about something
Okay.
that Solo carries?
I was gonna say I
Okay.
think Batman Solo carries to the TV
Okay, but think
department.
about this. All of the what's it called, the Disney Plus series for I guess WandaVision, um
Okay, but
Falcon and the Winter
I
Soldier,
thought of that. I thought of
Loki.
that.
They are all connected in the same universe. They all
Yeah.
are
Okay,
connected. But as the other DC TV shows, they are all like
but
linear. They are not connected to each other whatsoever.
and
Well, they are.
I cannot emphasize
Well,
this enough. Teen Titans is one of the greatest things to ever grace this
Yes.
earth.
Yeah, Teen Titans.
Yes.
It's so good. You have
But
that.
then you also
Superman the
have
animated
Teen Titans Go, which kills
Just-
it for you.
No, TC. Yeah, whoa. No.
I
You
was
need,
hoping
like,
you were not gonna bring that up.
TT Go gets a little too much hate. All right, it's not that bad. All right.
It's pretty bad.
It
I don't
is,
understand.
but have you seen some of those dark jokes out of nowhere?
I love it. The Teen Titans Go to the movies. Guys, okay. If you've never liked Teen Titans Go,
I have
just
seen
go
Teen Titans
watch the
Go to the
movie.
movies. The movie's pretty.
It is
I
so
think the
good.
movie is what Teen Titans Go should have been.
It's
not.
kind
I've
of
not
what it is. Kind of what it is. I'd like.
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
like it's,
I feel no.
it
It is way higher quality than the show.
Well, it's a movie, so
Yeah, higher budget.
it's a little bit longer, so you get time to really develop the characters.
You could make the I feel like this is also a detriment to the Teen Titans Go is that everything has to be individual mini stories rather than having something that lasts multiple episodes. I think that would have helped.
I like long form television, but every now and then it's kind of nice that a series says "fuck that," we're going episodic. And that's kind of nice. I don't get mad that SpongeBob doesn't have a season long
episodic, but not everything has. Just occasionally adding special multi-episode things.
Okay, so
Add
regardless,
something.
Teen Titans Go. Okay, I'm not going to defend that. Fine. All right, let's go. Let's go. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice. In what universe does any other Marvel TV show compare to those?
I feel like we're making a weird argument between cartoons versus live actions at this point.
No, it is TV in general. We're summing this up.
Are we just TV shows in general?
Yeah,
because
TV in general.
because I don't think DC can beat Marvel in the live action department, and I don't think Marvel can beat DC in the cartoon department.
Well, no, I think they could. You have Arrow, you have Flash, you have Gotham, Batwoman.
Do we separate them from live action and cartoons?
If you guys want to, we can.
I feel that'd be more even.
I think that's more fair to distinguish between them.
It's only fair for Marvel because DC rocks them so freaking hard with their animated TV shows.
Okay, what about the Spider-Man TV shows like Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man?
The Spider-Man cartoons are pretty good.
Yeah, no, they're not as good as as DC though. And I will admit, I did like is it Astonishing? It came out in the mid 2000s, Spider-Man.
I actually don't know.
But no, it's
well, all right. Also, first of all, Batwoman sucks. Arrow is average. Flash is decent in the early seasons, and I feel like loses itself.
Flash was really good in the beginning, but then it just I think their budget just got.
I don't know if it's. Maybe you can answer this. I'm not the biggest Flash person. I feel like as someone who does not privy on Flash lore, the show gets confusing and dumb in the later seasons.
No, that means it is accurate to Flash lore.
No, that's what. No, I'm not. Yeah. So I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad. You can make an argument if it's good or bad, in that regard.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because
Did you guys watch Crisis on Infinite Earths? The crossover event where they cross over 4 TV shows?
I have seen Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And it's fantastic. It's amazing.
I have not. But the Flash TV shows has really gone downhill steeply. I watched the first 2 seasons and it was really good, and then I stopped. Now
DC
I'm
also has the Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV show. I don't think either of you guys have watched that, have you?
I don't know what that
Nope. I have not watched that. I don't even know. I don't even think I've bothered to look at a review on if that show's any good or not.
Okay. Adam West Batman. Yeah, and you guys ever watch that show?
No. I honestly never. I feel like I can't watch that and enjoy it, so I don't watch it just so I don't have to get hated on.
It is fantastic. It is well worth the watch. It is.
I can't do that kind of comedy. I can't do that kind of that type of humor and stuff. It doesn't do it for me.
It's really progressive for a TV show, especially in the late 60s. Can you name any other TV shows in the 60s where they show a cop as an idiot or incompetent? You can't, because that wasn't allowed on TV.
We're not arguing TV in the 60s. We're arguing Marvel versus DC.
I know. That's why this is a point in Batman's favor for being trend-setting and progressive in the late 60s.
And looking really weird.
It's 60s, man. Come on, you can't hate on it.
Yes,
it had a crossover with the Green Hornet, which had Bruce Lee in it. So Bruce Lee is canonically in the DC universe. That makes DC much better.
Lee.
Yeah, he was he was Kato. So technically he's not Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is part of DC. Would that also mean Chuck Norris is also part of it as well?
I'm trying to think. I think there was a Chuck Norris comic book for a little bit.
And then if Chuck Norris is in it, would that also mean Jackie Chan too? What the hell is going on? Because Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan have they been in the movie together?
Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, no.
No, I could have.
No, Bruce Lee died in the late or the mid 70s. So I think that and Jackie Chan didn't start making movies till the early 80s, I think, at the earliest. I'd have to go back and look at his filmography.
Yeah, there is a movie. There is a movie with them together. It's called Enter the Dragon.
Oh, Jackie Chan is in that. He has a cameo as one of the guys that Bruce Lee knocks in the face with the nunchucks. It's amazing.
1973 is when he came
out. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Because he's not Jackie Chan. He's just like he's just like goon number 3 or something like that. He's not named, and he's only there to get knocked in the face when Bruce Lee busts out those nunchucks, which is fantastic.
I miss Bruce Lee.
Many of us do.
Yes.
So wait, did we ever even come up with a remote argument on who wins TV shows?
Okay, for TV shows, cartoon TV shows, I would give it to DC because Marvel doesn't really have all too much.
And I will say this, and it's probably gonna spur you guys on. Even the X-Men series that everyone loves, and I love the theme song, guys. But go back and watch it; it does not hold up. I tried watching it late, a little bit on. I think it was on HBO Max. It is so bad. It is so dated.
All right. So we'll make TV shows a general tie. I don't think there's a good way of distinguishing one versus the other.
What about live actions?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think live actions goes to Marvel and cartoons goes to DC to the point that I would call TV shows
because you guys haven't watched all of these live action DC shows, which isn't fair.
What, you mean like the really, really old ones?
Yeah, they are.
I don't think it's possible for me to enjoy old live action shit. You could argue it's good or not. You could say I don't like retro games. You think I'm gonna like retro TV shows?
No, I would say if we're gonna give Marvel the solo carry for Spider-Man, how do you not care? Like, animated TV shows are still TV shows.
Because I think that how they're judged is completely different.
No, and that's an unfair distinction that leads to DC losing. So I'm trying to change that.
How is that an unfair? This is literally like saying video games and TV shows are two different mediums. I feel like cartoons and live actions are two different mediums as well.
That's like saying anime is its own genre. Is the vibe of the argument
No, anime I put in
that
a
it feels like
I
you were
put
throwing out?
anime. Honestly, you could make the argument that it's own genre, but not an argument I want to
An-
make right now.
Anime's
Okay.
how
I have something that DC cannot counteract. You know how there's Marvel video games, Marvel cartoon TV shows, and their live action TV shows that DC cannot compare to is that they are all okay. They're not in the same universe, but they could be in a multiverse crossover. Unlike DC.
Oh my gosh, my head hurts when we start talking about
No,
multiverse and
you say that, but I just said earlier in Crisis on Infinite Earth, they already did the multiverse crossover thing that Marvel is now doing, and they did it like last year or the year before. I can't remember.
Well, did they do it as live action or as
Yeah, they did live
Crisis on
action.
Infinite
Yep.
Earth is live action.
They
Well, it
crossed
was-
over like 4 different shows.
when?
He said
Let
last
me
year.
see. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Like
I don't know, it's one of those.
2020 was very, very weird.
I mean, I
Um,
guess it wasn't all too popular.
It was hugely popular.
It's DC live action lost its thunder before Crisis on Infinite Earths came out because, as I've said before, it literally turns into
2019.
if you are not familiar with the comics, it's not as entertaining to watch. It
It was
literally
huge.
no,
Yeah.
its entertainment value is tied to how much you know about the comics to understand what the fuck is happening.
Okay, Smallville. That was hugely popular. Was it not?
Smallville?
Yeah,
I've heard of
Smallville.
it. I haven't watched it.
I've watched Smallville. I acknowledge its popularity. I don't think it holds up. I barely even acknowledge it as a DC. I barely even acknowledge it as a Superman show. I can
haven't
just as
watched it in
argue
a long
it's
time.
literally a drama where one dude happens to be really strong, like happens to have Superman powers. But I do not look at that and go, "Oh yeah, this is Superman. This is
Okay.
This is a DC show right here."
Let's talk about Pennyworth, all right? The TV series based around Alfred.
What? I didn't know that was a show.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the thing?
Came out in 2019.
Oh my god, it's a show.
And they are looking they're moving to HBO Max and for a 3rd season.
How is this good?
It's on its 3rd season. I think that's a fair point. I think it's pretty popular.
Holy shit. I might need to watch this. But that's the point.
It has 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I don't like that's mid-range. Did you guys didn't know about Pennyworth?
No, I legitimately did not know about Pennyworth. I don't have
Right.
HBO Max.
Oh my god.
I don't get these advertisements.
See, you guys are just out of the loop. You got get in the loop. You know? It was very people were excited when they did DC. When DC did the Crisis on Infinite Earths in their live action TV show.
I stand by. All right, I'll give you Pennyworth because anything with Alfred is automatically a win. But I cannot give you Infinite Earth because I still stand by that it requires you to have so much knowledge to appreciate it. Like if someone who has not been following every one of those TV shows, if they watch Crisis on Infinite Earths, it is not going to be good.
So that's like saying, okay, if you don't watch the Marvel movies, Loki's not going to be good. I
can make that argument. Yes, I'm not making the argument that Loki's the best show.
But that's what is your guys's are what's your live action?
I feel like
Marvel TV show that is so good that I'm defending against. Is it just the 3 Marvel Disney Plus shows?
Yeah, I think it's 3. But the thing is building up into the next phase of Marvel for the Marvel movies.
I think that you can watch WandaVision on its own, and I think it's totally understandable and holds up. I think
people would be deeply confused by it.
I think the confusing part of
100% based. You have to have watched what
No, you
happened
do
before.
not. No, you do
I-
Yeah,
not.
you
You
do.
can
think
pick it up.
Marvel could,
I'm just like
mean,
Batman came out in 1966, and people still talk about it. People still love it. You think
All
people are
right,
gonna be talking
but
about WandaVision in 50 years?
You
No.
have to wait 50
yes.
years to find out. You can't make that argument. That's a terrible argument.
Yeah.
It's a fair argument. When no
It
one
is
talks, like
not.
people are already talking less and less about it. And okay, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Let's talk about a
Okay.
series that fizzled out and no one gives a shit about anymore.
Okay, that one did suck. But the thing is, it was evolving the characters. It was
So you guys
more
have,
of a-
but that means you have WandaVision and you guys have Loki, pretty much. And Loki's grand argument is summed up as, well, it's setting up
All right.
future
I will
stuff. that could
also,
be cool.
as a potential argument, I don't know if this is actually a legitimate way to compare them. I am much more excited for upcoming Marvel shows live action than I am for the upcoming, well, just in general, both cartoons as well, because What If is a thing. I'm more excited for Marvel's shows in the future than I am for DC's upcoming shows in the
Okay,
future.
that's the future. What If isn't out yet, Jess? All right, doesn't count. You guys can't count future projects.
Well,
You want-
That's why
because
I literally said
won't-
I'm not sure if this is an argument, but I
Yeah,
am
no,
acknowledging
okay.
the point.
I will acknowledge as well. I am probably more excited for live action Marvel stuff in the future.
All
But
right, see, we're just gonna
I
clip that.
think
We're gonna clip that. We take away.
That's
We
fine.
take away the word
That's
in the
fine.
future.
I'm not
we
arguing
take
that.
away the words in the future, and we have the sentence.
But-
There you go.
Said, I am more excited about Marvel live action.
there is nothing to be excited about for DC. Like
that
what?
doesn't mean that the old DC shows are bad. Like,
Yeah, but it's not
Marvel has
really-
2 live action TV shows that you guys are naming. I've just named off
All
like
right,
a
all right.
dozen different.
So because
shows.
this isn't gonna be, we can continue this in another episode, but because this is not gonna be the longest episode, I want to move on to movies because I feel like we're gonna be at this argument for a while.
Wait,
I thought-
wait, 1 second. I had something to say about DC TV shows.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why does DC love to stretch out the TV shows so long and never wants
Because
to end it?
Fans love the TV shows and
Well,
don't.
I don't think
No,
I don't think that's
no,
a. I
no.
don't
Have
think
you
that's
watched
a.
Flash? It is
Yeah, I
so
watched Flash.
bad.
No, I still like Flash. I still watch Flash.
It's
I'm waiting for the next season to come out on Netflix, and I'll watch it there. I just don't watch it live action because I don't have
It's-
TV.
I
Can they
will.
at
I will
least
make
increase
the
your budget
argument.
or something? It
I will
is-
make the argument. I agree with you, MrClean, but I'll make the argument that's not. It's similar to the anime industry. It's not really the kind of thing where you can say, "Oh, the quality's gonna be bad," or "We can't make a top tier show, so let's cancel. Like, let's end the Flash." It very much is a business and for making money.
I maintain the fans. The fans love the
Yeah,
TV shows.
you can. I don't.
Otherwise,
I don't
they
think that's
wouldn't.
yeah, it's a
you have
weird
sh- yeah.
argument. It's
Because
a
you
weird
have
argument.
Supergirl
to
as
make.
well. You have Black Lightning. You have fuck, I can't remember their name. The time traveling squad where they go around fixing stuff. I can't remember the names right now.
Okay.
Give me a second. No.
Wait, what other things do we talk about? All right, if we're gonna say also, maybe I'm the only one. I want to see Moon Knight. Let's go. All right,
I don't know.
fucking give me Moon Knight.
Yeah. No. I'm excited for Moon Knight. I want.
Moon Knight. All right, and I'm gonna
Legends of
trigger.
Tomorrow.
I gotta
That's
just
the-
to anyone who doesn't know what Moon Knight is, and I'm gonna immediately trigger every comic fan listening. Moon Knight is
God.
Marvel Batman.
Oh my God.
Wait,
God.
wait, is this Taskmaster or is this
No.
No.
Well, that's
Oh,
no.
no,
Moon
shit.
Knight is a completely separate. And Moon Knight, and this is what triggers the comic community. Moon Knight is literally called White Marvel Batman. All right.
Well, let me say this: he looks a lot more badass than Batman. And
So,
this is my first
like-
time seeing him.
Moon Knight is not as interesting a character as Batman. I don't think even
Whoa,
tFay would argue that.
Define
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
Define interesting.
Like people give a shit about him. The reason
No, see,
there's a
the
reason
problem-
Moon
no,
Knight
but
is
see-
a B-list hero.
Yeah, but Moon Knight, if you're just gonna look at the character in a vacuum, all right, like Batman also wins a lot because of its villains, all right. Moon Knight has shitty, but if you're gonna look at the character in a vacuum, I think like Moon Knight has multiple personalities, which I think leads to a lot more interesting in terms of a character analysis compared to Batman.
No,
If you're gonna look at it in a
Batman is
vacuum.
interesting no matter what story you put him in.
If you're gonna look at no, I
he
said
has
if
great
you're
villains,
looking,
but
I said looking at him in a vacuum. So don't look at anything outside of the character itself. If you're just gonna look at the character, his powers, weapons, backstory, and then compare that to Moon Knight. All right, Moon Knight literally got powers from a god, from going to ancient Egypt, has multiple personalities, and that affects how he fights.
Yeah, that does sound a lot better.
All right, I'm not saying that Moon Knight's better than Batman, but if you're gonna make the argument of who's more interesting,
I will give it to you, and I think you make a good point. If you take away everything around them and look at them just as a singular character, it is Moon Knight is probably a little bit more interesting.
100% say the world of Batman slays Moon Knight. I've read a bunch of Moon Knight comics. Obviously, there's no Moon Knight TV show to watch.
The world of Batman is DC Comics. You just said DC Comics slays Marvel, so you know what? I'm gonna take it.
All right, but no, I want to see Moon Knight. I want to see the world expanded for Moon Knight because I think Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight's underrated, and like jokes aside, I don't like that. I don't like that it's just directly compared to Batman as much as I just like to troll
I think
everyone.
it's just
even though that's how you opened up on Moon Knight.
It's just Batman with abilities. Basically.
No, that's why it's freaking it's like easy content. But if you actually like, yeah, so Moon Knight, if you just look at Moon Knight, he's Marvel Batman. If you actually read the comics, you're not getting you're not like I've read Batman comics and I've read Moon Knight comics. They're not the same.
So wait, okay, if we split up animated TV from live action TV, are we gonna split up animated movies from live action movies?
You know,
because if we do that, I think
now this is where I get mad. This is not like a 5-hour episode.
Yeah, I think if we do that, then DC slays in the animated movie market.
Well, okay. What about the Miles
into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Great. Yes. Under the Red Hood. Lego Batman. Lego Batman movie. My God.
I will have to say that I honestly, as much as I like Into the Spider-Verse, I do think Into the Red Hood is God tier, and I do think Lego Batman is God tier. Also, fun story about Lego Batman. Fun story about Lego Batman. I watched it live in theaters, and
me too.
If you remember the scene, pseudo spoiler, not that it really matters. After the villains like Joker's like looking at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, it's like saying like cut. Literally, the theater lost power, and so the movie shut off, right? And none of us knew if that was part of the movie because we're like,
"Oh my God,
are they hard breaking the fourth wall?" We were just waiting for the movie to continue.
That'd be amazing if they made that into the movie. Like, at this moment, we need your technician to turn the movie off and leave it off for 2 minutes.
That's what I was saying. We actually waited until someone went to go call for help because we weren't sure if that was part of the movie or not.
Huh. That's like in that scene in The Last Jedi when the sound cuts out when Holdo blasts through those spaceships, and apparently people were like booing because they thought the sound like cut out on accident.
It's all about interpretation.
Oh gosh, it's just that's what that reminded me of. Was that scene specifically? So the point is, so animated DC takes both TV and movies. Marvel takes movies, live action, and then Marvel takes games. We never settled on comics.
Oh gosh. So this is my stance on comics, and again, and you know, I read both, so I'm about as close to an unbiased comic reader as you can get.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's DC. I feel like it's just what do you want from your comics? Like I've read for what I read Marvel comics, I literally just feel like I wish this was a TV show. I wish this was a movie because it's just like I don't think Marvel comics necessarily utilize the medium of comics as well as DC does. I don't know if this makes any sense. I'm super
I get where you're
nitpicky
getting at.
about
I
this.
think, but it depends on what you read. There's tons of Marvel.
Well,
books.
it really depends on what you want.
I guess it depends on how much you like.
and how
She-Hulk
much
in
you
the
read.
late '80s, early '90s. The John Byrne run or Byrne, I can't think of his name. Was fantastic. Like it was super meta. Like the series ends with her going to where the real live actors live, or not the actors, the real live comic writers are, and they're talking about how to end the series, and she beats the shit out of them for everything that she went through during the series.
Yeah, like
it gets super meta. We're talking like before Deadpool did it, She-Hulk was doing it.
I feel more in general. I feel more engaged when I read DC comics compared to when I read Marvel comics. But that's just could also be down to my tastes.
See, I think DC just has bigger hits on their hands in terms of like when you compare them. I love Marvel comics, but I think DC just has more big hits on their hands. From Crisis on Infinite Earths to The Killing Joke to I hate the book, but Dark Knight Returns. Everyone loves that one. I don't get it, but everyone loves it.
What, Killing Joke?
Yeah, no, the Dark Knight Returns. Old grizzled war boner Batman.
Oh,
yeah. I've always hated it, but people claim it's the greatest thing ever. Watchmen is a DC property, so that counts.
I feel like I need to have a conversation with you either on or off the podcast about the Dark Knight Returns, because yeah, I've also read that and I'm like, I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah. I don't get it. I've hated that comic since I started reading them years and years ago, but it constantly is on the like top 10 list of people when they talk about graphic novels, as is Watchmen. Why the Last Man? If you guys have never read it, go check it out. It is fantastic. It's so good.
All right.
Like,
so we do got to wrap things up for this podcast because I do need to go and do IRL stuff.
Okay.
All right. So all right. Let's end with this. Obviously we were not expecting to come with a definite answer between which is better between Marvel versus DC. Obviously. If you guys like us talking about Marvel versus DC, or you're someone listening who wants to be on the podcast to talk about Marvel versus DC, let us know. We'll happily do more episodes like this. Bring MrClean back.
Today was fun.
Yeah, we definitely need we can do more podcasts like this in the future. But I think it'd be really cool to end with between Marvel, like if possible, like one Marvel and one DC, like any medium, just something you would recommend from both sides that you think people need to look into.
Oh fuck. Okay. If I had any Marvel property, okay. If you have an answer, tFay or MrClean, go ahead.
I'm gonna say Batman, the comic, The Long Halloween, I think is a must read, and you don't really need to know Batman to understand it. And I think it's just great. Just solid shit from beginning to end. Unless you just don't like the art style, is probably the only thing I could say is a downside to it. In terms of Marvel, honestly, Spider-Man PS4. Go play that shit. Find it, go play it.
Everyone go out there and just buy a PS4 and
yes, because you're not getting a PS5. Oh.
I actually do want to play Spider-Man. It's a pretty good game.
Fuck. I would okay. You know what? Why the Last Man? Go ahead.
Did we didn't talk about the Marvel movies, did we?
No, we didn't.
But
we also don't have time. We'll come back.
We didn't need to.
We'll do an entire episode just to talk about the movies. And we don't have to talk about why Marvel is better than it. We can just talk about the movies in another episode.
Okay. So, Why the Last Man is published under the Vertigo, which is the more mature adult side of DC. Why the Last Man? Go read it. It's fantastic. It's 60 issues. And I've never seen it. Like, I've yet to have a comic make me cry as much as this series has. It is so good. Marvel side, the TV is pretty good. Something people maybe. Oh, go back and read Avengers: The Initiative. It takes place right after the events of Civil War in the comics when the young warriors blow up Hartford, Connecticut. Spoiler alert! And superheroes are made to register. The initiative is based around trading these, and I think like the first 25 issues is really good. Worth a read.
There also is complete collections for the initiative if people are interested. Really expensive, really expensive physical, but you can. I'm just looking at Amazon right now. You can buy the complete Kindle Comixology version for like $20, which is not bad.
That's not bad. Yeah, but if I'm picking anything for you guys to read, it's Why Last Man. Go read it. Oh, that was fun.
What about you, MrClean?
Okay.
I really don't have suggestions, but can I make a suggestion on like a TV show and
Yeah.
like 2 TV shows?
Sure.
But it's about like superheroes. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it. It's not DC or Marvel.
Is it
but
Invincible?
I think they're really good. Okay.
Are the
listen
boys?
here. One of yeah. Okay. Okay. You can just read my mind.
Like what, MrClean? I was literally reading Invincible the comic, before I came on here. That's what I was
Oh my-
doing.
Okay,
I have
Invincible
yeah.
and the boys. I like how both you just.
Yep,
I'm
no,
able
it's-
to know what you're gonna ask because I can agree. Like I can testify to the quality of these shows.
They are
because they're both good.
They are.
They're but I think the boys honestly is probably the best TV show based on comics right now.
Yes.
Like I like it more than Loki, WandaVision, any of those, to be honest.
Yes, it's just
Like
very dark.
the boys, like immediately the first episode, I'm like when a certain person exploded from someone running through him, I was immediately like, holy shit, what is this? I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
watching.
no, yeah, Garth Ennis is fantastic. Wait, oh, The Boys takes place in Wildstorm. Guess what? Wildstorm is part of DC Universe. The Boys is
God
a
damn it! I was
DC
trying to end
show.
on a peaceful note, and Noctis has to
There
go
you go.
bringing it back.
There you go. The Boys counts towards live action DC
No,
shows. Suck
no.
it. There you go.
Wait
yes,
a
it
minute.
does.
All right,
Wait a minute.
before we get to this argument, I have to go. So let's end the podcast here.
Wait a minute.
All right, we'll have a
Fair.
part 2. We'll have a part 2. If you want to find out how MrClean defends against Noctis ruining my ending,
That was not fair.
tune in next time on the next episode of Luna Lounge Z.
All right, guys. Have fun.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
See ya.